Let's starting. In this session, we are going to discuss end-to-end healthcare data analytics pipeline using Snowflake team. So let me diagrammatically explain what are we are going to do as part of this one. Okay. Let's say we have different data sources. Let's say sources. These sources may be file system like uh, CSV, JSON, XML, etc. These sources may be any RDBMS like MySQL, Oracle, etc. These sources may be any NoSQL databases, NoSQL like MongoDB, MongoDB, and Cassandra, etc. These sources may be any data warehouses like like AWS Redshift, Azure Synapse, Snowflake, etc. These sources may be these sources may be any cloud file systems like like uh, AWS S3 or Azure Blob or GCP cloud storage, etc. So any storage type. These may be any storage. Input sources may be any storage. So these are maybe any storage. So other side we have, let's say we have Snowflake data warehouse. So in Snowflake data warehouse, let's say first layer is raw layer. Let's say this one is raw layer. Let's say this is my Snowflake data warehouse. Okay. Using different techniques too. using different techniques like data ingestion techniques. Using data ingestion techniques, data ingestion. Data ingestion techniques. We will connect these sources. We will connect these sources and we will load data into raw layer. Raw layer. So here we may use different technologies like uh, Python or PySpark or Snowflake techniques, etc. to ingest data from different sources to our Snowflake. So we use different data ingestion techniques for connecting sources, and reading data, and then writing into Snowflake layer. Other approaches like ETL tools, ETL tools, ETL operations like uh, PySpark, PySpark, AWS Glue, AWS Glue, and Azure, sorry, Azure Databricks, etc. There are plenty of technologies available in the market. There are plenty of technologies available in the market to perform ETL operations. So these ETL tools connects with these sources, applies transformations on sources, and finally they are going to load the data into raw layer, or our Snowflake. So once data is presented into raw layer, then here Snowflake developer comes into picture. Snowflake developer also involves here. Snowflake developer also involves Snowflake developer also involves data ingestion, and or if ETL pipeline is completed for reading data, applying transformation, and loading data into our Snowflake area, then Snowflake developer comes into picture. What Snowflake developer going to do? Snowflake developer going to write different procedures, views on this sample data. Before this sample data is going to create a databases, is going to create raw tables and analytical tables. Okay, so here once data is presented into our Snowflake, then as a Snowflake developer, we are going to perform writing. If required transformations, we are going to write the transformation logics using this Snowflake procedure concepts too. We will write using Snowflake procedures, Snowflake procedures. So we'll create databases, tables, views, views, command procedures, etc. So as a Snowflake developer, we are going to do lot of activities using Snowflake concepts. And then finally, we are going to load that data into this curated layer team. So once our transformation is completed using Snowflake techniques, then results we are going to store it into uh, curated layer. So this raw layer contains uh, schema holds ingested data from different sources. Ingested data from different sources. It stores unprocessed data. And then using our Snowflake techniques, we are going to do a lot of transformations by writing different procedures or functions. Then we transform the data, and finally we are going to write that transformed data into curated layer. This curated layer contains cleansed data or validated data or standard data type. So curated layer means this curated layer also called cleansed or trusted or transformed layer. It is the middle layer between the raw layer and analytics presentation. So once we transform the data, then our downstreams comes into picture. Our downstream people comes into picture. Let's say consumers. We can say consumers. So consumers comes into picture. These consumers going to use this curated layer data. Consumers, uh, consumers like BI people, consumers like BI people. Then these people we can call it as uh, Power BI, Tableau, or ClickView, or we can say ClickView, or we can say AWS QuickSight. So different people. These people we call it as BVA people, or machine learning people, or artificial intelligence people, AI. These people comes into picture. They are going to use our data. So these people going to use this curated layer data too. These people going to use this curated layer data. So whatever data they're expecting, as a Snowflake developer, we are going to write a different procedures on top of raw layer. Then we can make data available to our downstreams in a curated layer. So curated layer contains what? It contains cleansed data or trusted data or transformed data. It stores validated data for our downstream's expected format. So we can say this curated layer contain data cleaning, like uh, maybe our raw layer contain duplicates, maybe raw layer contain null values, maybe raw layer contain some standard text formats. Then we want to convert that standard text format to required downstream format. And validations like ensure values within acceptable ranges. Some columns may we have different formats. Let's say some values are Indian currency. We want to make that into US currency format. So our whatever downstream expecting same format, we are going to convert and we are going to load it into curated layer. After loading curated layer, some tables we do not want to expose, we do not want to expose complete data or complete rows and columns. Then we can create a views on top of curated layer. We can create a views and we can give that views to our downstreams. So these kind of activities we are going to perform on raw layer, and finally we will prepare data and we transform data and we load data into curated layer. So, so as a part of our end-to-end project, as part of our end-to-end project, today, as part of this project, end-to-end Snowflake project, as part of this project, our assumption is data loaded from these sources, maybe uses using ingestion techniques, maybe ETL pipeline, ETL pipeline, maybe ETL pipeline. We got data into raw layer. So instead of doing these activities, what we are doing, we are going to write insert queries. We are going to write insert queries. Before this insert queries, what we are going to do here, using these techniques, we are going to create DBs, create a database, DB, and schema, and tables. Plus, we are going to write inserts, inserts. And similar way, curated layer also, we are going to create DBs, we are going to create schemas, then we are going to write, we are going to create tables. We are going to create tables. And then once this fourth step is completed, sorry, third step is completed, fourth step, we are going to write procedures. We are going to write procedures on this raw layer. Then we are going to load the data into tables. We are going to load the data into tables. Once this activity is completed, fifth activity, we are going to write views. We are going to write views on top of some table. Instead of exposing complete data to our downstreams, We are going to write different views. And finally, before handover, before handover our tables and views to downstreams, we are going to write sample queries, and we are going to test whether these tables and views contain proper data or not. To test or to validate final tables, we are going to write some sample queries. And once this one is completed, we are going to create data pipeline. Data pipeline. We are going to create data pipeline. Data pipeline. Data pipeline for different procedures we will write, right? On top of this raw data, here this raw data is loading data, transform data, and loading the data into curated layer, right? Once, let's say data is loaded, and here this data pipeline should be triggered, and this data pipeline going to call these procedures, and generate data into curated layer. Means we are going to do first full load implementation, full load, and later we are going to see delta load or CDC, delta load or CDC. CDC stands for change data capture. So first time we will load complete data into curated layer after transformation. Then every new load, every new data comes into raw layer. How we can implement delta load or CDC techniques to insert or update or modify data into curated layer. So for all these, we are going to call procedures. That procedures we are going to automate using data pipeline. So this data pipeline, we are going to use in this project Airflow, Apache Airflow. So we are going to use Apache Airflow for scheduling this Snowflake transformation jobs. Let's say procedures. So this is our end-to-end activity of this project today. Hope all of you understand what we are going to do as part of our Snowflake project. Yeah. Any questions in this theme? Any questions? Is it clear what we are going to do as part of today's session, or as part of this project implementation? Yeah. Oh, that's what here we are doing all transformations using Snowflake techniques only. Yeah, Snowflake procedures. We are not using any other tool. So our assumption is data coming from different sources to our raw layer. Then we are implementing transformations using Snowflake techniques, and we are loading the data into curated layer. That cleansing operation, null validations, all those checks we are going to do through our Snowflake techniques using procedures. We write a different. No, we are getting data from different sources into raw layer without transformed data, raw data, and structured data only, but not transformed. It may contain null values. It may contain uncalculated values. Uh, a different format, uncleansed data, uncleaned data. So I said, what we are going to do using our Snowflake is we are going to perform data cleaning activity, removing duplicates, handling nulls, standardize text formats, and ensure values are within acceptable ranges. Our consumers, let's say some values in the format of decimals with fractional part, but my client is expecting only without fractional part. So such kind of activities we are going to do using Snowflake and convert inconsistent fields into uniform structure format and map some department names with required format. If there is any lookup data, we can compare that lookup data on raw data. Then we apply join operations. Then we load that uh, filtered data into curated layer. These kind of activities we are going to do with Snowflake techniques. Simply we can say complete transformations we are going to do on raw layer, then we are going to load it on load in curated layer. And we can say, hey, consumers, this is your expected format. Before handover, we will write sample queries. We will write sample queries and we will check whether data is loaded as expected format or not. Then we can hand over to consumers. So for this, we are going to do complete these implementations. I have created multiple tables, inserts, and I have created tables, procedures. I created views, insert commands, DB creations, everything I have created. So we are going to discuss complete practicals one by one. And before that, prerequisites is you need minimum knowledge of Snowflake or at least any RDBMS knowledge also will help. And one more is you need a Snowflake account. Who do not have Snowflake account, then I'll tell you how to create and how to log in. No worries. So clear writing, what we are going to do. And once we create procedures, we are going to write uh, Apache Airflow DAGs for calling these procedures automatically. No need of calling, running procedures of Snowflake manually. You can create a procedure using Snowflake, and then you can run that procedures using Apache Airflow DAG. You can create a Snowflake operator in using Snowflake operator. You can provide a definition of a DAG in Apache Airflow. Then you can call your procedures from Apache Airflow. Let's say my data is loading every day at morning 5. Let's say it will take around 5 to 10 minutes. After loading, I want to call my procedure to transform this raw layer data into curated layer. Then you can schedule this uh, job from Airflow, let's say 510. 510 AM, you can call this procedure and run that procedure on raw layer, then load it into curated layer. Let me open a browser team. I am going to create a I'm going to create Snowflake account. Let me create. So you can use start for free. So who do not have account, I recommend to create an account too. I'm creating my account, and you can use your Gmail ID or your official ID. And I'm sign up in this one for my personal learning and development. Click on continue. Then you can do any name, company name. Then I'm giving data, title is data engineer. Then I'm selecting AWS cloud. You can select any cloud vendor team. So I'm selecting AWS. I'm selecting default region. Accept this one. Get started. And this one you can use for anything. Just I'm checking all the options. Or you can even ignore this one also. You can click on skip. Then this one also optional. This one also optional. Then you can select this one. You can or you can skip. Then click on submit. You will get an email thing. You will get an email. Once you get email, you have to activate it. Try to create one more time. Before that, let's once again check. So we got this one. Then here you have to click activate. Then enter your username. So I'm entering my username. Then enter password. Then enter password. Then click on get started. Once you click on get started, once you click on get started, you will get a one email from Snowflake. So this is your login URL. Every time you can use this URL for login team. So it will open home page. But once you close this, right? Next time, if you want to log in, use this URL. Okay. So this is a Snowflake web UI. Here you can see plus symbol, and we can click on SQL file. Then here you can see here untitled area. So here what I'm doing, I am creating DDLs. I'm giving name is rename data definition. So data definition dot SQL. In this, what I'm doing to, I am doing is I am creating first raw layer things. Raw layer database, raw layer database, and see create or replace database healthcare underscore DB. In this database, I am creating all raw layer related to. So first I'm creating healthcare database and I am creating schema for raw layer. I am creating schema for curated layer and I am creating schema for analytics. Final exposing to my downstreams. I said I am going to create views, right? So views related tables, views, everything I'm going to write it into analytic layer. And then I am creating raw layer tables. Let's take all these tables. Let's take all these tables, raw table. So I am creating 3 tables too. So this one is complete. I'm writing project database, project database, and here schemas for raw layer, comma, curated layer, and analytics layer, and then here I'm writing table creations, tables for raw layer, raw layer, tables for raw layer. So first I'm creating patients related master raw data. Let me select this one. Then select this one, control enter. So table is created. I'm creating another table for doctors related data. Then here I am executing control enter. Then I am creating another table. Okay. Here. So I'm creating another table, visiting details of each patient. Okay. Then control enter. Then you can see this is our workspace. Okay. You can see you can refresh here. So healthcare underscore database. In this healthcare underscore database, you can see raw layer. In this raw layer, you can see 3 tables are created. These are 3 tables. And in this, I'm creating another one. Let's say here I'm giving name is DML, DML. And in this, I'm writing complete insert operations. Insert operations. So I'm inserting 10 records in each table. I'm inserting 10 records in each table. So first table. So patient's details. I'm inserting 10 records. Let's insert 10 records. Then I'm inserting 10 records into doctor's table. And I'm inserting 10 records into these visiting table. Then I'm writing one more script file. Here I'm writing sample queries. Sample queries. Let's say maybe data ingestion team, maybe ETL team said data is replicated into our Snowflake. Data replicated into our Snowflake. Then we want to validate data, right? So go to here. You can check. You can take this one. See, you can take this one. You can say you can take this one, place name in editor. Then here I'm writing select star from select star from this database, from this table, and limit of 5 records. Then I'm executing this query. Then I'm checking whether data is loaded into this table or not. Similar way, I'm writing one more table select query. One more table select query. Then limit 5 rows. Limit 5 rows. Then execute. Then once again write one more sample query, like select star from this patient's visiting details. You can click on this one, name, place, and name, place name in editor. Then I'm writing this query. Then I'm checking whether data is replicated or not. So in this table also, data is replicated. So what we are doing, we are writing sample query. So first, these people, data ingestion people or ETL people, says data is replicated into our Snowflake. And once data is replicated, as a Snowflake developer, we want to validate whether data is replicated or not. We write some sample SQL queries, this kind of SQL queries to validate. Once we identify data is replicated, then we start our work. So up to now, clear, right? So I have created one SQL file for pure data definition related. I written another script for complete insertion purpose. These DDLs, these DMLs, we perform one-time activity. One-time activity. This sample, we every time, if data is replicated, we do this kind of sample queries. Once this one is completed, once we identify, then we write our transformation logics. For different processes, we write different SQL queries. Different SQL queries, different procedures in different script files based on our requirement. And then we transform data into curated layer. Hope up to now, all of you understand what we did. Any questions till now? Is it clear? Come again. Come again. Yes. First, we are doing. We can say unit testing. Unit testing on raw layer. Once we got a info saying data is replicated, we want to test whether data is loaded or not. On raw layer, we tested. We cannot blindly write procedures and test on raw layer. First, we need to confirm. Example, let's say our Jira story says this so and so patients with these many counts. Then we have to check, right? Otherwise, if we write our transformation logic, if you transform the data, the transformed curated layer also contain less data. So uh, final consumers, they are going to present, right? They will get less data. Let's say our expectation is 2 million records, but we got only 1 million record. So count mismatch. Before applying our transformation, we can write counts checks. Then we can say a data ingestion stream, we got wrong count. Check your side. Then again, they will validate, they will apply their logics to get complete data. Then they load the data into raw layer. Again, we write unit test case and we write our SQL query. Then once data is loaded as expected, then we will write our procedures. We continuously write without waiting for them. We will write our procedures to perform transformations. But before running that job, we do checks. Here I written simple sample query for showing uh, 5 records. But based on our Jira story, we will write corresponding unit test case, unit test related SQL query to test data on raw layer. After raw layer completed, after our procedure completed also, we will write sample queries, whether data loaded as expected our consumers into curated layer or not. Before handover tables to tester. Before handover table to tester. Just now I said curated layer. We will perform null validations and standard text format validations, different things, right? All those activities related sample queries we will write and we will test on curated layer. Then finally we will give or we will hand over to tester. Tester going to test. If tester says everything is replicated as expected, sorry, everything is transformed as expected, then consumers going to use that data. No. Transform, let's say raw layer is 2 million records, but you are applying some transformations, means some condition check. Let's say these many ranges I said, we apply ranges check. That ranges may be 1 million records. So curated or layer counts may be differ, depends upon our uh, condition checks or filters applied. It depends upon our transformation logics. So that also we will get from our requirement like Jira task. Any other questions, Tim? Yeah.